I'm 70. I don't masturbate anymore. Here's why. At 70, life begins to take on a different hue. It's a time of reflection, a chance to look back at the roads travelled and the choices made, while also embracing the lessons that come with age. For me, this stage of life has been about re-evaluating what truly matters, how I spend my time, where I place my energy, and what brings me the deepest sense of joy and fulfillment. Among these reflections lies a personal yet profound decision. I've chosen to stop masturbating. This choice isn't rooted in shame or denial, but in growth and alignment. As I've navigated the physical, emotional, and spiritual changes that come with aging, I've discovered that the habits that once served me no longer fit the person I am today. Instead, I've redirected my energy toward pursuits that nurture my soul, deepen my connections, and enrich my days in ways I hadn't imagined possible. I share this story not to prescribe a path, but to invite you to reflect on your own habits and priorities as you journey through life. If this resonates with you, I encourage you to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more content exploring the richness of life after 70. One of the greatest lessons I've learned in my 70s is the profound freedom that comes with letting go. Over the decades, life can become cluttered, not just with possessions, but with habits, routines, and even beliefs that no longer serve us. These things often feel like an integral part of who we are until we step back and realize they may be holding us back from something greater. For me, letting go of certain habits, including masturbation, has been part of this broader journey of self-discovery and growth. When I was younger, I never questioned many of the routines that filled my days. Masturbation was one of them, a private, almost automatic act that felt natural, even comforting in the chaos of daily life. At that time, it served its purpose. But as I've grown older, I've come to see it as more of a reflex than a conscious choice, a habit that had lingered without much thought or intention. As I began to reflect on what truly brings me joy and fulfillment in this stage of life, I realized it no longer aligned with the person I was becoming. Letting go wasn't instantaneous. At first, the idea of breaking away from something so ingrained felt unsettling, even unnecessary. But as I explored what life could look like without this habit, I began to notice something extraordinary. A lightness, a sense of freedom, as if I'd shed a layer of myself that I no longer needed. With that space, I could focus on what truly matters, on moments that bring lasting fulfillment rather than fleeting gratification. I remember one particular afternoon sitting in my garden, watching the way the sunlight filtered through the leaves. It was an ordinary moment, yet it held an extraordinary stillness and clarity. I realized that these small, quiet experiences were what I had been craving all along, not the quick release of tension, but the enduring peace that comes from simply being present. Letting go of old habits allowed me to savor these moments more fully, to appreciate life's subtleties in ways I never had before. The beauty of releasing what no longer serves us is that it creates room for something better. For me, that something better has been a renewed focus on meaningful connections and creative pursuits. I've discovered new hobbies, like painting and writing, and rekindled old passions that had been set aside for too long. These activities bring me a sense of joy and purpose that is far more satisfying than the habits I've left behind. It's also taught me to embrace simplicity. In letting go, I've come to understand that we don't need to cling to everything we've accumulated over the years, whether it's possessions, expectations, or routines. By releasing what no longer resonates, we can strip away the noise and focus on what truly matters. Life becomes less about chasing pleasure and more about finding harmony, about aligning our actions with our values and our deepest desires. Letting go is not about denying ourselves, but about rediscovering ourselves. It's about peeling back the layers of who we once were to reveal the person we are now. At 70, I feel more grounded and present than ever before. There's a profound joy in living authentically, in making choices that reflect the person I want to be, rather than the person I've been. As I reflect on this journey, I feel an immense gratitude for the clarity and freedom it has brought me. Letting go isn't always easy. It requires courage and trust in what lies ahead. But the rewards are undeniable: a fuller, richer life, unburdened by what no longer serves us and open to the beauty of what's yet to come. As I've grown older, one of the most transformative changes in my life has been the shift from seeking solitary comfort to prioritizing meaningful connections. In my younger years, masturbation served as a quick escape, a private act that offered relief from stress, distraction from loneliness, and a sense of control amid life's chaos. But with time, I've come to realize that while it provided temporary comfort, it paled in comparison to the deeper emotional rewards of true connection. At 70, I've found that what truly nourishes my soul is not isolation but intimacy, the kind that comes from being fully present with others and with myself. This transition didn't happen overnight, but as I reflected on what truly fulfills me, I began to see how solitary habits like masturbation often diverted my attention from the richness of shared experiences. The fleeting satisfaction they brought could never compare to the lasting joy of being fully engaged in the world around me. One of the most profound realizations I've had is the value of connecting with my family. There's an indescribable beauty in holding my grandchild's hand, in listening to their laughter and marveling at their curiosity. These moments are not just precious, they are life-affirming. They remind me of the interconnectedness of our lives and the simple truth that joy multiplies when shared. Sitting around the dinner table with loved ones, swapping stories, and reliving cherished memories has brought me a kind of fulfillment that solitary acts never could. Friendships, too, have taken on new meaning. A phone call with an old friend, a heartfelt conversation over coffee, or even the shared silence of sitting together in comfortable understanding has become a cornerstone of my happiness. These connections remind me of the importance of vulnerability, trust, and mutual support. They ground me in the present and offer a sense of belonging that no solitary act can replicate. Perhaps most unexpectedly, I've also deepened my connection with myself. In my earlier years, I often turned inward in moments of sadness or loneliness, seeking physical comfort as a way to soothe those feelings. But now, I've learned the value of simply sitting with my emotions, of acknowledging and accepting them rather than rushing to resolve them. Through mindfulness and meditation, I've discovered a deeper relationship with my inner self, one that fosters resilience, self-compassion, and a profound sense of peace. Mindfulness has been a powerful tool in this journey. By cultivating the practice of being fully present, I've replaced old habits with new ones that bring far greater rewards. Whether it's tending to my garden, feeling the sun on my skin during a quiet morning walk, or losing myself in the pages of a good book, these moments of presence offer a fulfillment that feels rich and enduring. They allow me to savor the textures of life, to appreciate its subtleties, and to find joy in its simplicity. Letting go of solitary indulgences has also allowed me to redirect my energy toward creative pursuits. Writing, painting, and even learning new skills have become ways to express myself, to connect with others, and to leave something meaningful behind. These activities are not just hobbies, they are acts of engagement with the world, reflections of a life lived fully and intentionally. This shift to prioritizing meaningful connections has been one of the most rewarding aspects of aging. It has taught me that intimacy is not limited to the physical. It is emotional, spiritual, and deeply relational. By letting go of habits that kept me inwardly focused, I've opened myself to the beauty of shared experiences and the profound satisfaction they bring. At 70, I've come to understand that the true essence of life lies in connection. It's in the warmth of a shared moment, the comfort of mutual understanding, and the quiet strength of simply being present with those we love. These are the connections that sustain me, that bring depth and richness to my days, and that remind me of the extraordinary gift of being alive. One of the unexpected joys of reaching 70 has been discovering how deeply fulfilling life can be when we open ourselves to new experiences and creative pursuits. In my younger years, I often equated happiness with excitement, chasing goals, managing responsibilities, or seeking fleeting pleasures. But as I've grown older, I've learned that true fulfillment lies not in intensity, but in depth, in the quiet satisfaction of moments that enrich the soul. For me, gardening has become one of those sources of joy. There's something profoundly grounding about tending to the earth, planting seeds, and watching them grow. It's a simple act, but it holds layers of meaning, patience, care, and the reminder that life unfolds at its own pace. I've found peace in the rhythm of it all, in the way my hands feel in the soil, and in the way a bloom or a sprout carries the promise of renewal. In the garden, time slows down, and the worries of the world seem to fade, leaving only the serenity of being present. Conversations, too, have taken on new significance. A leisurely chat with a neighbour or a deep, heartfelt exchange with a friend fills my days with warmth and connection. These moments remind me that fulfillment isn't about doing more. It's about being more attentive, more present, and more open to the people and experiences around me. There's a richness in shared laughter, in hearing someone's story, and in the simple act of being heard. These connections, fleeting though they may seem, linger in the heart long after the moment has passed. Exploring new skills has also become a cornerstone of my happiness. In my 60s, I began experimenting with painting, a hobby I'd never considered in my busier years. At first, it was just a way to pass the time, but it quickly became something more. Through each stroke of colour and each finished piece, I discovered a part of myself I hadn't known before. It's not about being perfect or even good, it's about the process, about finding joy in creating something that is uniquely yours. This same spirit has led me to other pursuits, like learning to bake, trying my hand at writing, and even picking up snippets of a new language. Each endeavour brings with it a sense of accomplishment and wonder, proof that we're never too old to learn or to surprise ourselves. Volunteering has also brought a sense of purpose that I didn't realise I was missing. Whether it's helping out at a local community centre or simply lending a hand to a neighbour in need, these acts of service remind me that fulfilment often comes from giving rather than receiving. There's a quiet satisfaction in knowing you've made someone's day a little brighter, and that sense of connection to the world around you is deeply rewarding. Even the simplest moments have taken on new meaning. Sitting on my porch with a cup of coffee as the morning light filters through the trees, walking in the crisp air of a fall afternoon, or listening to the soft hum of the world around me. These moments, once easily overlooked, have become treasures. They remind me to slow down, to savor life as it comes, and to find beauty in its simplicity. What I've learned is that fulfillment isn't about how much we do, but about how fully we live. It's about leaning into the present, embracing the opportunities that each day brings, and discovering joy in unexpected places. At 70, I no longer seek fulfillment in the rush of the extraordinary. Instead, I find it in the quiet rhythm of the everyday, in the hobbies I pursue, the people I cherish, and the moments I savour. These new sources of fulfillment have not only brought me joy, but have also deepened my connection to life itself. They remind me that no matter our age, there's always room to grow, to learn, and to find meaning. This stage of life is not an ending, but a beginning, a chance to explore, to create, and to truly live. And in that, I've found a richness that makes every day feel like a gift. Aging has a way of transforming how we see the world, how we relate to ourselves, and how we find meaning in the life we've lived. At 70, I've entered a chapter that feels less focused on the external and more attuned to the internal, a stage of life where spirituality takes on a new and profound significance. This evolution isn't tied to any single belief system or doctrine, but is rooted in a deepening awareness of life's fragility and beauty, and the enduring desire to nurture the soul. In my younger years, much of my focus was on the tangible, career milestones, family responsibilities, and the pursuit of physical pleasures. These were the markers of success, fulfillment, and identity. But as the years have passed, I've come to understand that the satisfaction these pursuits offered was often fleeting. With age comes a natural slowing down, and in that stillness, I've found the space to reflect on what truly matters. This reflection has led me to turn inward, to seek not what the world can give, but what I can cultivate within myself. Practices like meditation and prayer have become central to my daily life. Meditation, in particular, has been transformative. It's not about clearing my mind, but about being fully present, sitting quietly and observing my thoughts, my breath, and the rhythm of my existence. Through meditation, I've learned to embrace the ebb and flow of emotions without clinging to them or pushing them away. It has brought me a profound sense of inner peace, a stillness that feels like coming home to myself. Prayer, too, has taken on new meaning. For me, prayer isn't about asking for anything. It's about gratitude. It's a quiet moment to acknowledge the blessings in my life, the love of my family, the beauty of a sunrise, the wisdom that comes with age. This simple act of giving thanks has become a daily ritual that grounds me, reminding me of the abundance that surrounds me, even in life's simplest moments. One of the most beautiful realizations I've had in this stage of life is the interconnectedness of all things. There's a quiet magic in noticing how everything in the universe fits together, from the way the seasons change to the intricate dance of nature. These observations have deepened my sense of spirituality, connecting me to something larger than myself. Whether it's watching the sun dip below the horizon or feeling the cool breeze on my skin during an evening walk, these moments remind me of life's vastness and my small but meaningful place within it. This spiritual evolution has also reshaped how I view my body. In my younger years, I saw my body as a tool for achievement and pleasure, something to be pushed, shaped, and used. But now I see it as a vessel, temporary, yes, but sacred nonetheless. Aging has brought changes that I cannot ignore, from slower movements to quieter desires. But these changes no longer feel like losses. Instead, they are reminders of life's natural rhythms and the importance of caring for this vessel with gentleness and respect. Perhaps most importantly, spirituality has taught me to embrace life's impermanence. The passage of time has made it clear that nothing lasts forever, but rather than finding this realization daunting, I've come to see it as a gift. It's the fragility of life that makes it so precious. Knowing that our time here is limited encourages me to savor each moment, to live with intention, and to leave behind a legacy of love, kindness, and wisdom. This connection to the spiritual has brought me a profound sense of freedom. By shifting my focus from the physical to the soulful, I've discovered a richness that goes beyond any external achievement or gratification. It's a reminder that as the external fades, the internal deepens, offering us a wellspring of peace, joy, and connection that is ours to nurture. At 70, I find myself less concerned with what I have and more focused on who I am, how I live, love, and connect with the world around me. This spiritual evolution has been a journey of rediscovery, one that has brought me closer to the essence of life itself. And in that essence, I found a beauty that is boundless and enduring. Aging is a journey that leaves its mark on the body in ways both expected and surprising. At 70, I've come to know this firsthand. The once effortless movements now require a bit more care. The sharp edges of youthful sensations have softened, and the body that carried me through life's highs and lows now whispers for gentler treatment. These changes, while undeniable, have not felt like losses to me. Instead, they've been invitations to embrace a new kind of wisdom, one rooted in acceptance, grace, and reverence for the life my body has lived. When I was younger, my body often felt like a tool, something I could push to its limits in pursuit of ambition, pleasure, or practicality. Physical desires and habits like masturbation were instinctive, almost routine, and often a source of comfort. They offered a way to release stress or reconnect with myself amidst the chaos of life. But as I've grown older, I've noticed how these once familiar impulses have softened, and I found myself reflecting on what my body truly needs at this stage. The changes came gradually at first, a subtle shift in energy, a slowing down of recovery time, and a newfound sensitivity to the rhythm of my days. Over time, they became more pronounced. What once felt natural now feels different, not worse, but quieter, more subdued. Hormonal changes and the natural aging of the body have altered the way I experience physical sensations and desires. But rather than mourning these shifts, I've come to see them as part of the beautiful evolution of life. Embracing these changes with grace has been one of the most important lessons of aging. Instead of clinging to the person I was, I've learned to celebrate the person I've become. The wrinkles on my skin and the stiffness in my joints are not signs of loss, but of a life well lived, a body that has carried me through decades of experiences, challenges, and joys. This perspective has brought me peace, replacing the fear of aging with a deep sense of gratitude. Honoring my body now means listening to it more closely than ever before. It means choosing activities that nourish rather than deplete, that bring comfort rather than strain. For me, this has included adopting gentler routines, like morning stretches that ease stiffness, or an evening walk that clears my mind and connects me to the world around me. Even something as simple as sitting in my favorite chair with a warm cup of tea feels like an act of care, an acknowledgement of the slower, quieter pace my body now craves. I've also rediscovered the joy of tactile experiences that don't revolve around physical intensity, but instead focus on connection and grounding. Digging my hands into the soil while gardening, feeling the sun warm my skin, or running my fingers across the pages of a favorite book. These moments offer a sensory richness that feels deeply satisfying. They remind me that pleasure and fulfillment don't have to come from intensity. They can be found in the subtleties of life. This approach extends to how I view health and wellness. I no longer measure fitness by how fast I can run or how much I can lift, but by how well I can care for my body. Stretching, light yoga, and mindful breathing have become rituals that not only keep me physically comfortable, but also bring me a sense of connection to myself. Nourishing meals, plenty of rest, and the occasional indulgence are all ways I honor the needs of a body that has served me faithfully. Perhaps the most profound realization has been understanding that my body, even as it changes, remains a source of strength and resilience. It doesn't need to perform as it once did to be valuable. Instead, it invites me to slow down, to appreciate the moment, and to find new ways of being present. Physical acceptance is not about giving up. It's about letting go of expectations that no longer serve us and embracing the reality of who we are now. At 70, my body tells a story of perseverance, growth, and love. By honoring it, I've found not only peace, but also a renewed sense of respect for the life I'm living and the person I'm becoming. And in that acceptance, there is wisdom, joy, and an enduring sense of wholeness. Growing up in the mid-20th century, Conversations about intimacy were anything but open. For many of us, topics like sex, desire, and especially masturbation were wrapped in silence or approached with discomfort. These cultural norms, shaped by a time that valued restraint and privacy, left a lasting imprint on how we viewed ourselves and our bodies. Even as societal attitudes have shifted dramatically in recent decades, those early teachings remain a quiet undercurrent in my life, shaping my choices and perspectives in subtle but meaningful ways. As a young person, intimacy was often framed through the lens of modesty and morality. Public discussions about personal desires were rare, and when they did occur, they were often tinged with shame or judgment. This silence didn't necessarily suppress my curiosity, but it did encourage a certain caution, a belief that some things were better left private, known only to oneself. Over the years, as societal norms evolved, I found myself re-evaluating those early lessons. The growing acceptance and openness around topics like masturbation introduced me to new ways of thinking about intimacy and self-care. Yet even with these cultural shifts, I've discovered that those foundational values still influence me. The emphasis on moderation, self-restraint, and the idea that intimacy is deeply personal feels as relevant today as it did in my youth. At the same time, I've learned to balance those early beliefs with a more compassionate, modern understanding of myself and my needs. This blend has created a unique perspective, one that respects the values of my past while embracing the self-acceptance and openness of the present. Now, at 70, I view intimacy through a lens shaped by both generations. I no longer see restraint as a limitation, but as a thoughtful approach to understanding what truly serves my well-being. Letting go of certain habits like masturbation isn't about clinging to outdated values. It's about honoring my current priorities and aligning my actions with who I am today. This cultural and generational duality has enriched my experience of aging. It's given me the tools to navigate this stage of life with grace, blending the wisdom of my upbringing with the freedom of modern self-awareness. Together, they've allowed me to create a deeply personal and authentic relationship with intimacy and myself. One of the greatest gifts of aging is the clarity it brings, the freedom to speak about topics that once felt off-limits, like aging, intimacy, and personal growth. At 70, I've come to realize the importance of sharing these experiences openly, not just for my own understanding, but to connect with others who may be navigating similar paths. There's a unique power in vulnerability, in speaking our truths and inviting others to do the same. For much of my life, I believed certain topics were best left unspoken. Cultural norms from my younger years taught me that discussions about personal habits or desires belonged in the realm of privacy. But as I've aged, I've recognized how isolating that silence can be. We all face changes, physical, emotional, and spiritual, as we grow older, yet so many of us carry these experiences quietly, assuming we're alone in our challenges or choices. By sharing my own journey, how I've let go of certain habits, like masturbation, and found fulfillment in new ways, I hope to encourage others to reflect on their own lives. This isn't about promoting a specific path or suggesting that one way is better than another. It's about opening the door to dialogue, creating a safe space where we can explore our habits and priorities without fear of judgment. The truth is, conversations like these are essential, especially in our later years. They help us connect not only with others, but also with ourselves. They remind us that the changes we face are universal and that growth is possible at any age. Whether it's a friend, a family member, or even a community like this one, finding someone to share your reflections with can be profoundly liberating. I invite you to join this dialogue. Reflect on your own habits, your own journey, and what brings you joy and fulfillment at this stage of life. Share your thoughts, your experiences, and your insights. Together, we can create a space where these conversations feel not only welcome, but necessary, a space where we remind one another that we're not alone on this path. Aging is a time of transformation, and by opening up to each other, we can make it a time of connection, understanding, and growth. Let's support one another in embracing the truths of our lives with honesty and grace. At 70, life is about embracing who we truly are, our growth, our changes, and the wisdom we've gathered along the way. This stage of life is not about clinging to old habits or mourning what no longer serves us. It's about living authentically, aligning our choices with the person we've become. Whether it's letting go of routines, prioritizing deeper connections, or finding joy in simpler moments, the journey is uniquely yours. The message here is not prescriptive. There's no right or wrong answer when it comes to how you choose to live your life. What matters most is that you reflect on what feels right for you, what aligns with your values and brings you true fulfillment. For me, stepping away from certain habits has opened the door to deeper joy and connection. But your path may look entirely different, and that's okay. I encourage you to take a moment to reflect. What habits or choices no longer serve you? What brings you the greatest sense of peace and purpose at this stage of life? Share your thoughts in the comments and help create a community of support and understanding. If you found this message meaningful, please like, share, and subscribe. Let's continue this journey together.